Opinion disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by Just Our Opinion podcast are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any of our sponsors. Any content provided by our guest or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, anyone, or anything.
What's up? What's good?
What's crack-a-lackin'?
Happy Wednesday.
Welcome to Just Our Opinion with Robin.
Mike.
And Ty.
And we got a possible controversial one
Oh,
going
this
today.
is gonna be good though.
We're talking about blended. How do you navigate those blended families?
For sure. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we all have experience with. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
You know, whether it was in childhood or, you know, or your adult life.
Right.
Right.
So I think we'll be able to break this thing down.
Yep.
Let's do
Real
it.
good. But wait, before we go any further, I do want to shout out the event, our sponsor for tonight.
Oh yeah.
The Taste of Black Beer, Wine, and Beverages.
This weekend,
It's
right?
happening this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday at Yum Village.
Oh yeah. It's gonna
Yeah.
be definitely.
It's from 2 to 8. Make sure y'all are in the building. Make sure y'all checking out these amazing black-owned beers, wines, beverages. Everybody that fell in love with that 1186 water, y'all can come by this weekend and get you a case. It's going to be fire. We're going to have a ball. Tina, Leilani, I'm talking to you. Come buy you a case of that water this weekend while it's there.
for sure.
Absolutely.
But before we get started, fellas, y'all know what time it is.
Yep.
Let it go.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win.
I for real think that's like my mantra.
Man, I just came here.
I just came here to win.
And if you can get a win,
I just came here to win.
just here for the dub, the W.
Period. I think that's my mantra. Like I feel like I say that to myself every day. Like I just came here to
That's
win.
it. Look in the mirror. You're a winner.
You're a freaking winner.
You're a
you,
winner.
you, and you.
You're a winner.
You're
Tell
winners.
yourself you're a winner. Turn to your neighbor and say you a
Every
winner.
morning when you get out the bed, before your feet touch the floor, just say, I just came here to win. And then do what you gonna do for the rest of the day. Before your feet touch the floor, roll, you know how you spin off the side? And before you touch the floor, just be like, I just came here to win. I'm telling you.
You know,
I'm telling you.
us 40 plus, we don't spin. We just have to do that slow turn and the slow get up. So I don't know about spinning, but yeah.
I'm talking about that, you know, that side of the bed. Because, you know, ain't none of us just hopping out of bed no more.
With our swag
I'm talking
on.
about, I'm talking about that sit on the side, you know,
For a
because when
minute.
we sit there for a minute,
Contemplate. Got to get the knees together and then go win.
and then do the push-up.
the little boost.
Yeah, boost
Then
yourself
you
up.
walk back. Yeah, I know. Yep.
That's what we do. But before you do that, tell yourself, I came here to win.
We dropping jewels.
I'm just saying, y'all see what type of show it's about to be already. So again, we talking about blended. Like, how do you navigate those blended families?
Right.
That's the kind of interesting one for me. I grew up in a blended family growing up. You know what I'm saying? All kind of stuff. But wait a minute. I'm sorry. I messed up.
Nah,
Yeah.
we good.
I'm sorry. I messed up.
Give her the same eye she be giving us. Right.
Let's
Get
shut a page,
yourself
fellas.
together.
DJ, hit it.
Hit it, DJ. Hey. I'm gonna try this out. I'm only at 50%. Hey, turn my beat up. You gotta like, follow, share, and subscribe. It's Robin, Mike, and Ty. Now we keeping it live. Good. 8 o'clock and we got that vibe. So
Yep.
go and share the page cause we catching the vibe. We say like, share, follow, subscribe.
Like, share, follow, subscribe. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Like, share, follow, subscribe.
Share it. Yeah. Share it.
What's that stuff they do now?
Share the page. Somebody, listen, we're gonna have to get some bars in here, but like, follow, share, subscribe, tell a friend, you know what it is. Let's go. We got it, DJ.
You know, they make normal, like Tourette noises.
Wait, DJ over there, like, y'all should have just passed me the mic. He is shaking his head right now, like,
Oh my God.
you guys messed up a dope beat.
Y'all should see our intern's face.
He just looking like, we missed that one. Okay, we sorry.
Oh, we
He's like,
apologize.
you know what?
Right.
We shouldn't even drop that beat. I shouldn't even drop the beat because y'all.
Your flow was whack.
He ready to come take our mics.
Right. Shut it down. I told y'all I was only at 50%. I can't flow like this.
I told y'all it was gonna be one of them.
For sure.
Just one of them shows.
For sure.
So look, we talking about blended. How do you navigate those
Blended families.
Somebody else go.
Blended family. So, for me, it's just like, I mean, growing up, no, like my mom and my dad, it was just me and my brothers. So I'm the oldest, and then there's Manny and Mark. So no, we didn't experience I didn't experience as a child the impact of, you know, quote unquote a blended family. It was just like all three of my siblings, well, my two siblings, we had the same parents.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until my adult years
Mm-hmm.
that I walked into my first marriage where there was already,
Right.
you know, established family,
Right.
and there was already a blended family. So now I'm bringing myself into that to be accepted as the father figure.
Yeah, because they weren't just a family that was made already. They were also blended with them themselves.
Right. So
Okay.
that was
Yeah, that's something.
That was tough to walk into.
Wait a minute. So it started with you. You add one, and then you add another one, and then you bring this home.
Right. So it was almost like when I going into it, I did make I made the effort to be like, no, you don't have to call me dad. I don't just
Right.
off the gate get that. I'm not coming in the door like, call me dad.
Right.
If I've earned that at some point, you know, during the course of this family growing, if I earn it, that's fine. I'm
Right.
cool with it. But
Right.
I didn't come in with that
Trying to be your daddy.
Yeah, trying to
replace your dad.
Right. And it was just a thing where I had to first learn the children
Mm-hmm.
and how they were. But at the same time, there was difficulties because it was like, I do all the discipline because of the situation that was there. I do the discipline and you don't. Now that put me in a tough situation.
So what's the basic parameters of a blended family?
So if you have siblings and y'all don't have the same mom and dad, that's blended.
Okay, so you have to go into. Wait a minute. Okay, so in order for the family to be blended, you have a man getting with a woman. He have kids, she got kids, and now it's a blended.
Right.
What if it's just a man getting with a woman with kids?
That's blended as well.
Okay,
Because
so that's
it's
why I was
still
saying, what's the basic parameters?
And like I just said, it's somebody with 2 kids or more that don't have the same father. If you have 2 or more kids, and any of them, whether it's 2 and 1, like you say you got 3 kids, it's 2 and 1, or you know what I'm saying, you got 4 kids and it's 3 and 1, whatever the dynamic is, if they don't have the same mom and dad, the family is officially blended.
Right.
So, but that's why I was saying, you have a man with no kids, a woman with 1 kid. Are they still technically a blended family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, because eventually that man and that woman, you got the man that came into a dynamic that was already there, and then eventually that man and that woman is going to bring another child. You know what I'm saying?
Eventually, yeah.
So my blended for me growing up was the Brady Bunch blended.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I mean is,
She had 3,
she
he had 3.
she had kids, he had kids. They got together, but then the part that got sticky was he had kids, she had kids. They got together. They had 1 together.
I didn't think they had any together.
It's me. Oh no, I'm not talking about the Brady Bunch. I'm explaining my dynamic now.
He missed it. But yeah.
So that was the dynamic I grew up in.
Right.
I would advise, just for the stuff that I went through as a kid, I would advise that if y'all gonna do that dynamic and he got kids and y'all got kids, don't just have 1 together.
Okay. Why you feel like that?
Like, especially if it's multiple. Now, if you had 1, she had 1, and y'all have 1 together, you know what I'm saying? That's different. But if it was multiples on this side that has the same mom and dad, multiples on this side that had the same mom and dad, I would advise anybody, just from my own personal experience, don't just have 1. Because that 1 needs somebody on their side.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, it leaves that 1 in a situation where y'all against me and y'all against me, and I'm on this island by myself.
Okay. See, for me, I guess it was like the second time for me, it was like, okay, you got 2, I got 2, and now we got 2 together. And it's still this thing where it was just like, I think the man in that position has it the toughest. And the reason why I say that is because he's trying to balance all these different emotions and feelings with different everybody that's involved. Because essentially he wants to just love everybody and he wants everybody to love each other. But then necessarily that may not be the case. But he's in the position to where he's got to make sure that the wife is happy and she got 2 of her own. So he got to treat them like his own. He got his own.
That's his own.
His own. And then he got 2 with, I got 2 with her. So it's just like, I'm in so many different directions trying to spread all of this equal love. So the kids won't feel like, oh, you favor this one over this one, or you give this one more than you get. Like, it gets crazy.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. I feel like in a blended family, that's always gonna happen.
I mean, not necessarily even a blended family. Just
a regular family. I feel like there's always gonna be a kid
favoritism.
That's the mom or dad. The kid feels like the mom or dad favor, or
right.
Like, so. Unfortunately, it was probably more extreme because there were so many dynamics to that blend.
Right.
But that's gonna happen. Period.
But see, they
you ever seen like that? I think it was like on TikTok where it was like, I asked who was mom's favorite. You know what I'm saying? That crosses every kid's mind. And what's funny is you get to a certain point in your life where you know who mom's favorite is.
Right. Yeah.
Do you really though?
Yes, you do.
I knew who my parents' favorite was.
Yes, you get to a point in your life where you
may not admit it.
They may not ever admit it, but you get grown enough to know who your parents' favorite is.
I just felt like it was just always like, because I was the oldest, that I was looked upon to be the one to make sure, like,
You wasn't your mom's favorite.
You
I
wasn't the
know,
favorite.
I don't.
No, you
I
wasn't
don't-
your mom's favorite.
I think it was
Lil
more.
Mark held that hard.
I don't know. And the reason why I say that is, and that may could be true. You know, I'm not knocking it. I don't feel no way about it. But I'm just saying from my foxhole, like, the responsibility that was placed on me to look after them and teach them. Like, I felt like I got my mom's younger years and her more solid years. But
then it switched when she got older.
Yeah. And so then it was just like, it's up to you to instill the things that I instilled in you to them.
Because you was the oldest.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I just, but
that don't make
like,
you the favorite.
Yeah, unfortunately it don't.
We bumped heads a lot, so I knew.
Nah,
like,
that
in my
don't-
adult years,
That don't make you mom's favorite.
Yeah,
But it's funny because if you have multiple siblings, and here's the thing, if you don't admit this, you're lying to yourself.
What?
But if you're not an only child, your mom has a favorite.
Your mom and dad.
Your mom and dad have a favorite. If you're not an only child, now if you're an only child, you win that by default.
Right.
But
of course,
if you're an only child, your mom and dad has a favorite. And if you sitting up going, my parents would never. You
Whatever.
are living
That
in
mean you
denial.
not the favorite.
You not the favorite.
that's crazy.
Because the other thing is when you are your parents' favorite, oh, you know it.
So let's tackle this from a blended family favorite. Like, does that cause a rift when it's like, my favorite is my favorite because that's part of me? You may feel like your favorite is the one, like your firstborn, and then we got these two together, and it's like, well, for me, and I love all my kids, but Mikey, because he's the only boy that I helped bring into this world, like that's an extension to me. So once I got my little boy, my little mini me, that's not to take anything away from the older ones.
But here's the thing.
But that's my little boy.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Real talk. Your kids ain't really old enough yet for the favorite to be established.
Yes, they are.
Not especially not with the little ones. Not with the little ones. Because the reason for your child being your favorite shifts when they become adults.
I mean,
This particular child might have been your favorite when they were kids, and it could have been for any reason. You know what I'm saying? They was the one that cuddled with you at night, or they was the one, you know what I'm saying? It could be for any reason. But then they become adults, and you start seeing the decisions that they making in their life, and it becomes who the one that if something happened to me, I can go live with them. Who the one that's got my back no matter what? Who the one that I know gonna take care of business?
But
is
that favoritism, or is that this is the person that I know is the most responsible? This is the person that's the more business, this, that, and that,
they become your favorite because you need something from them. But the original favorite was the original favorite. You didn't need anything from them. They was the favorite kid. But besides
I guess
that,
for me, I was always mom's favorite. So and
yeah.
my brother and sister, like if they watching, like we've had this conversation seriously before, and my brother and sister be like, "Oh no, Robin is mom's favorite."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. My mom, ride for every one of us, but they will openly admit, like, nah, Robin's mom's favorite.
I mean, in the family, you was a lot of people's favorite.
Exactly. I was your mama's favorite. That's why none of y'all know who her favorite was.
I was just about to say, like,
Mike, that makes perfect sense.
What I was about to say.
The reason you don't know who your mom's favorite was because it was me.
Right. It was an extension.
Your mama's favorite child was her niece.
Right. Because but you got to think about this. My mom and my dad, 3 boys. They didn't get to do the, come here and the cut like this, that. And
they did that when the boys was babies.
I mean, but I'm talking about like that this is my pretty little girl, my little princess.
Yeah, they didn't have the princess moment because they didn't have girls. Yeah. But if you're looking at blended families, I think that even though you don't intentionally try to do that,
it happens.
You still have favoritism more towards your child than their children.
Absolutely.
Although you try to keep it equal as much as possible, but your child is still an extension of you. What I mean is you got both kids hanging off the cliff. Which one you gonna save?
See, no. I'm tossing them both backwards, and they got to say bye to mama because I'm taking myself out before I let
you don't
either
have
one
that
of them.
option.
Like,
you don't have the option. It ain't that tough as you think. I mean, it's tough to just say.
You met my kids. They so cute.
But if it comes down to the nitty gritty, most people would just, just out of pure instinct, go for their own versus the stepkid.
So, Ty, what's your experience with blended families? Is it?
Well, I haven't had much experience on the blended family where I had to be the blended kid per se. I mean, the closest I had closest to a blended family was my ex, when of course she married me and I already had 2 kids.
Right.
So, but she had no kids, so that made the blendedism easier.
But then y'all added a kid though.
Yeah, but we added a kid at the end.
Okay, I guess y'all didn't have a long time to see that one.
Right.
So I say y'all added a kid, so that blended that again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
now instead of you having
2 things, by the time we had a kid, my daughters was in their adult boyfriend years, and then me and the ex was on the fritz anyway, so it wasn't.
You didn't have to deal with
I didn't have. At that beginning dynamic, it was more of making sure I get with somebody that's gonna not only respect me but my kids, be a good mom to my kids.
So she would probably be the better one to ask about the blend then.
Probably,
you know what I'm saying?
I guess she got to start her own podcast.
Because she can't come on here.
My ex one she.
But no, like. Because it's a different dynamic from her side of things.
And that's one thing that even when we're talking about it, like I understand that even with like my first wife and my second, like I know that there was a different dynamic when it came to me walking in versus like the first time it was like, okay, he ain't got no kids, but I got 2.
Right.
So is he willing to accept me and my kids and I bring this, that, and the other?
Right.
So then after that, it was like, okay, now I have
2 and you got 2.
You got 2.
And we're going to add 2.
And we're going to add 2 together. So that's 6 different
kids
involved in
one situation.
So now it ain't just, and for my situation, it's not just, okay, wife.
But wait a minute, y'all had so many, and I'm going to call them sub blends.
Yeah, because it extends out.
They had sub blends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They had. So, okay, let's break down the initial blend. His blend. His two was blended because they didn't have the same mama.
Right.
And then her 2 was blended because they didn't have the same mama. So that's 1, 2, that's 4 blends. Yeah,
it's a big thing.
And then a middle blend. So that's 5 blends.
Right. Y'all had a whole fruit punch over there.
And so, like, it's hard to navigate all of that when it comes to, okay, what you do for this one, what you do for this one, when you get this one, when you get this one, and just trying to navigate all of that and not let anybody feel like they're left out. It's
they blend look like a family tree.
It really does. And just imagine, like, I remember one time, now Michaela and Mikey is with me and Quinn.
Right.
And Michaela was like, why don't
Wait a minute. And here's what's crazy about that. Like, they're the only full siblings in the whole blend.
Yeah.
They are the only full siblings in the whole blend.
So Michaela was like, why don't I have 2 dads?
Because everybody else did.
Literally
everybody else did.
Whip.
So I just, and for a kid to ask you those questions, that means they're very observant. And that's one thing that I really want to kind of talk about in this segment is that the most important.
They see that.
The most important part of this is the kids.
Yeah.
Wait, let me tell you something. Wow. So, my marriage is blended.
Mm-hmm.
You got 2 husbands. You got 2 wives.
That sounds like
my husband came in, with 2.
Mm-hmm.
I had none, and now we have 2 together.
Right.
So my 6-year-old looked at us one day. We were sitting down at dinner, and he looked up and said, wait, I'm trying to think exactly how he said it. Mommy, Daddy got another wife. Where's your other husband? Daddy got an old wife. Where's your old husband?
Right.
You got an old husband?
No, because I don't have no kids, no case. What I told him was I don't have one.
Whatever, don't lie to that baby.
What I told my son, Mommy don't have another husband. Then I looked up at Mike and my husband and said, no kids, no case.
Right. Look, no kids, no case.
You can't prove it. I ain't blend nothing into this thing. You can't prove it.
Well,
It
right.
ain't even
But
exist.
yeah,
But I mean, I agree with you, Mike. I think a blended family is difficult by itself, but I do think it's harder on a man than it is a woman. Because I think naturally women are emotional and loving, and it's easier for them to show that love and get those hugs and everything from the blended kids versus a man.
I will say this. I will say if you do find one that goes the extra mile to make that situation a little bit more comfortable, because let's be honest, the woman in that position, she owes nothing to those, like really don't owe anything to those other kids. So if whatever she does, when they say bonus mom and extra, like that's really a gift as a man. That's a gift, because it's like, you know what? If I can't, you will, and that you don't have nothing to do with bringing that kid into the world.
So
hats off to people.
Yeah, absolutely. One that, and all of us, everybody sitting at this table has experienced it. One that's a big issue that most people don't realize is a big issue. When the man comes into a situation, right? Mm-hmm. Like me and my husband did. He came in, he had kids. I didn't. You and your ex-wife, you had kids. She didn't. You know what I'm saying? Even in your situation, you had daughters. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You came in with daughters. She had kids, but you came in with daughters, right? But then you get with that second wife, and she gives you a boy. Mm-hmm. Immediately, your daughters feel some kind of way. Because your daughters is looking at the situation like, well, he finally got his boy.
I think they would feel some kind of way if the husband was griping about how bad he want a son. If you somebody
y'all
that
gripe
don't
about how bad y'all want a son.
No, I mean, if we have our choice, if we have a choice of a girl, okay, some men absolutely want a kid and want a son, want a son. And I think then you got some men that just don't want kids, period. Then you got some men.
I don't think I've ever met a man that wasn't, I want a son, I want an heir, I want a blood of my blood.
Typically, we get into that once we are about to have kids, and it comes down to which would you prefer to have, girls or boys. And they'd be like, okay, I want a boy. I want a mini-me.
You got to understand, girls are sellouts at the end of the day. As women, when we get older and get married, we take somebody else's name and kill yours off, basically. Mm-hmm. A boy, no matter what happens in his life, gonna hold your name.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we care about that too much nowadays.
That's you, dude.
It's more
I think you the minority.
It's more about us having a mini-me.
But
it's not necessarily the name.
No, but you need to understand the mini-me carries all of that. Like we talking when we say a mini-me, you have to understand that holds all those characteristics. That's the heir to my throne.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The namesake, the my only boy, all of that goes into my mini-me, my little guy, that's me. That is me.
That's why we want a boy. It's not necessarily that want somebody to carry on my name. It's just wanting a mini-me.
I always felt like, and this is coming from a household of just all boys, I understand where Robin is coming from, because my dad, the only way he showed any type of love and affection was through sports or building something, or this, that, and the other. He rarely was like, come here, give me a hug, I love you, blah, blah, none of that. When a girl come around, like a cousin or this, that, and the other,
I got all the love.
I mean, just hugs and kisses and
because it's a girl, that's our princess.
But this is what I'm saying. I can understand where Robin's point is coming from, to where it's like, once, like for me, like I before Mikey Jr., it was all girls for me. And even the boys that was in my life, they weren't
yours,
mine. Once it was like, oh, that's a seed of mine. That's a boy who is now
is you.
It's
your
me.
extension of yourself.
I'm seeing myself grow up before my eyes. It's special. It's different.
But what I was saying was, where I was going with that was that the daughters in that situation, you know what I'm saying, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah, they I would have to ask them. I don't
know.
A
little way
I
about
can
that.
tell you this. I can tell you, and this is why I disagree with that. If a man has a son and daughters, it's still most likely the girl's gonna be the favorite over the boy.
Absolutely.
So the girls won't feel that kind of way towards the boy.
But you don't see that young. You
yes,
know what I'm
you
saying?
do.
That ain't broke
when
down yet.
Yeah, when it's your little princess over your son, yes, you do. Because little girls have men wrapped around their fingers because that's their little princess. They princess can't do nothing wrong. They little boy can look at them sideways from a wrong blink and get a thump in the forehead.
Well, see, Ty, you grew up in a different household. You grew up with all sisters. So of course,
but I still was a boy.
Listen, my father-in-law, my husband was an only son. And I had Prince right before we lost my father-in-law. Like, you know what I'm saying? Prince was probably about 4, 5, 6 months old. But what?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Keep going. Somebody gonna get it, but keep going.
What just happened? You know, Prince was a little dude, but you know, one of the things that my husband was proud of was that his dad got to see that next hearse man. You know what I'm saying? Before he left this earth, he got to see that hearse name here to stay.
Okay. Right. And that was something
because my
big.
husband only had daughters before Princey got here.
That was something big in that generation back. I mean, our generation now, we want our mini-me, but I don't think we're just like, I want a boy and no girls or whatever, something like that.
Hey.
Because, I mean, I love all my kids. I mean, granted, I have my princesses and I have my son. You know, my girls they'll always be my babies. And I call my girls my babies. Even though they older, they still my babies.
Wait,
they still daddy
it's
princesses.
It's a comment up here that I want to read. And it says, girls will only be negative if the step parent is not accepting of them. And that's the biggest lie ever.
Say what now?
Girls will only be negative if the step parent is not accepting of them. That is the biggest freaking lie ever. It's something about having teenage girls that's blended into something because they automatically assume the issues and the drama of their mother. They assume that. So literally you can be coming in blindfolded, deaf, dumb, and crazy and don't know nothing about these kids and they hate you already.
But that's not just
because
girls.
they assume the drama of their mama. So this ain't really got nothing to do with, you know, girls not, you know, being negative because of the step parent, because it's something about a girl and her mama. And if you the next wife and mama don't like you, I don't like you.
That's the same thing with boys. That's with kids, period.
Well, here's how you have to look at it. It's like when I would have Armani on the weekends or whatever, she used to now, me and her just having this is my dad, this is our time, this, that, and the other. If anybody else came around, she looking her up and down like, who is you? Because this is my dad. This is, you know, this, that, and the other. So it takes a minute and this don't got nothing to do with if the person that you with, they was with somebody else or this, that, and other. This just is a kid looking at another individual that's taking a space that they mama wasn't feeling or feeling now, or now you with my dad or this, that, and the other. Like, it's been plenty of occasions where it's just been like, hey, this is X, Y, and Z. And like for me, I used to be like, and who was that? That ain't my dad. So I don't care if y'all been split up or broke up for 5, 6, 7 years. You bring somebody else around, that ain't my dad. I automatically hate him. I don't care what you say.
That's
good
what I'm
about
saying,
him,
girl or boy.
I automatically don't like him because guess what? That ain't my dad.
Right. That's
no,
girls
what I'm
and
saying,
boys.
What I'm
do
saying
that.
about the girls is, you're right, but girls will do it regardless. If my mama don't like you, I don't like you. I hate you because you ain't my
Without
mama.
even giving me
you
a
know what
chance.
I'm saying? You ain't even I don't know your name.
Just like on
And
Daddy,
you hate me.
That's just like on,
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not to
Kids
throwing
do
back
that.
to the movie we watched
Boys
last
do
week.
that too.
Daddy's little, what is it? Was Daddy's little girl? They didn't know the girl was the lawyer chick that was helping out. They automatically was like, who was her? Who was she? Didn't care.
Didn't give no crap.
Get up out of here.
Now imagine had they mama not liked her.
Right.
That was just them meeting her.
Right.
They would have been worse.
Had they mama not liked her. Oh, they'd have burnt the house down dang near for this girl coming over.
Yeah.
But
That's a blended drama. And that is what I'm saying is that's a very common blended drama. And that's one of those blended dramas that cause a lot of marital problems.
But you're going to have that drama no matter what, because kids are not going to like that other person because, like Mike said, that's not my mom. That's not my dad. You're taking my time away from being my dad. I don't want it to be you, me and my dad. It's just me and my dad. That's
why
kids,
I feel like
period.
men have it the worst in that situation because now you got to try to overcome that because you can't seem like, oh, well, let me just take this one with me.
Right.
Let me spend some time with this one because, they used to that. It's like, oh, well, what about these others and what about me? Like, he's got to do this juggling act of, I love you, I love you, I love you. Everybody come in and they don't have to. Mm-hmm. They causing all kind of ruckus. But me, I have to love equally and all the same, no matter if it's an argument between this one and this one, I'm in the middle.
Right.
And if I handle it a certain way, now me and my spouse got beef.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, you ain't come down as hard on this one as you did this one. Why is that?
So as we, just to reiterate the topic, how to navigate blended families, we haven't given y'all one tip on how to navigate. We don't know. That's how you navigate blended families.
We have no idea.
Just figure it out.
Listen.
We ain't got no opinion on how to make that happen.
All I can tell
when
you
you
is
figure it out, you make sure you tell us.
Please tell us.
Right. We'll have you on the show.
Anybody got any comments?
Yeah, we got a bunch of comments.
But in the comments, it's funny because they don't know either.
Right. Let's go through some.
So we got a comment from Adrian, and she said, "Yeah, that's a lie, true, Robin." So I assume she was talking about when I was saying, it's only if the step parent ain't treating them right. No, that's a doggone lie. We got a comment. Let me see. Let me jump back up. We got a comment from Nia, and it says, "I am a young adult. I don't care who my mom is dating. I give you respect and the benefit of doubt. When I see you mistreat her, then I have a problem."
That's a big one.
Yeah,
that's a big
because especially if mamas are sharing their relationships with the kids. Because it's the same thing with families. Don't go run and tell your family everything is going on in your relationship because you may forgive, but your family will not.
Right.
What else we got?
Here's my thing, though. Like, I'm a whole adult. My father has passed, and I think I'm still looking at anybody my mama dates.
It's just innate. It's just like,
think I'm still
right.
At this point in my life,
listen,
looking at it, if my mama brought somebody home today, I'm side-eyeing the heck out of him.
This whole situation, we in my father passed. Now we all there.
I remember that.
So
I remember that.
This dude just came over to show some condolence and be there, this, that, and the other.
Was it John or something?
My middle brother blew up. Like, why are you here? But that's just it. Like,
he blew a gas.
Yeah, like it's just like
we hadn't even got to the funeral yet.
And this dude was just kind of coming over there, checking on my mom and trying to, be there for her, this, that, and the other.
At the funeral?
Before the funeral. We hadn't even planned the funeral
Listen,
yet.
Your mama I ain't know that. I ain't see that.
You wasn't there.
You hadn't got there.
Manny blew a gasket. But I think he just dealing with the emotions of what was going on. But at the same time, it's just like,
some Deacon Jared trying to slide in.
That's how everybody looked at it. Like,
wait, I had that happen to me too. I had that exact same thing happen to me.
Like,
I had just lost my dad, and then all of a sudden it was this dude always at my mama house in her face. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Oh, you son of a!"
Can I take care of that transmission for you?
You know what I'm saying? You son of a!
And that you take that feeling and then you say, okay, now we tie that back to like the blended family. You're getting married. You bringing all these other personalities and everything back into this family. So now I got to deal with your baby daddy or your ex-husband or whatever you want to call him. You got to deal with mine. It's just a whole bunch of this mixture of this, that, and the other. And if you got multiple individuals, I go back to this. The kids are the most important because it shouldn't matter with how you get along with this person, whether I get along with this person, how we see eye to eye, this, that, and the other. The kids is the ones that didn't ask for none of this. It ain't their fault.
And you know what? Y'all skipping one dynamic, and I don't know if this is a blended family dynamic or the Patricia Snowden dynamic.
Okay, shoot.
Because once you in my family, you in my family.
Oh, well,
see,
I know what you're going to talk
when
about.
When it comes to my mom,
yeah.
Once you in, no matter what. If you have kids outside of us, that kid you have is my mama's grandchild. That's just how she is. So anybody that get with me, I say this, you likely to come to a family event where it will be my family there, my first ex, my second ex, all my kids, all my ex's kids, all my ex's kids, and my ex mother-in-laws. It will be there and they families too. Because once you in with my mama, you in.
So there's a comment that says, up front, if you can't love them like you would love your own, then you shouldn't marry that person. This is one thing I respect that my father did when he was dating and decided to marry my stepmom. Mm-hmm. Let me be the one to clearly say, I feel like there's an age requirement in that.
Of what?
Let me
explain.
Go
ahead.
In the loving them like you love your own.
Mm-hmm.
Because let me tell you why there's an age requirement in that. Because if your grown-ass child get to disrespecting me, I don't have to now love your grown-ass child like my own.
Check 1 2.
There you go.
Check.
Ty, are you serious?
Check
It was
one.
an accident.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
What? They can hear us now.
Okay.
Ty.
You ain't saying nothing about Michael accident or your accident, but I make a little boo-boo and it's come down on me. We all have F-ups this show. So nope. Keep that same
You
energy.
cut the audio for like 45 seconds.
No, good. Okay.
Keep that same
We good.
boo-boo and energy.
Did none of us cut the audio for 45 seconds? We literally can't post this on Spotify.
We can edit it.
We'll edit it. But no, okay, so the age requirement.
We got comments talking about Robin got to repeat it all. Did none of us hear what you said?
She was on the road.
I was on a rant.
Jesus muted her.
That's exactly what happened. I truly believe that's what happened.
So on to the next comment.
Jesus literally was like,
muted her.
Jesus was like, "Oh, you starting trouble."
Shut the whole podcast
Right.
down. No.
Jesus was like, "That one gonna get you in trouble."
Right.
Mute.
We got shut down by upper management.
We can't go back because I can honestly believe that because I could pretty much see the fight that would have happened behind them comments.
But I mean, it's really this. It's still, like I said before, the man or the male is between a rock and a hard place. Of course, he wants to love you. He wants you all to love each other, and essentially everybody be loved. Now, if you're dealing with somebody that's disrespect is disrespect, and whether they young.
Wait a minute, y'all. Y'all think the Illuminati muted us?
Probably. whether they young or old,
We ain't making enough to be
right.
Illuminati scale. No.
Whether they young
They
or
ain't
old, there's
studying
different
us.
ways to deal with a younger child. Okay, yeah, there's a different way to deal with that. An adult child, quote unquote, or adult,
It's a different way.
it's a different way to deal with
but
it.
you
So
still
we gonna
gotta
have
show them love.
right, and it's hard for the man in that position for me because like my kids, like my oldest, technically grown, 19. They don't, disrespect or this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
But for what I envision for them, especially the older ones, now that they both experiencing this whole college thing, was for them to like kind of lean on each other and have conversations with each
You
other.
ain't my brother.
But I can't force that.
You ain't
In
my
my
brother.
mind, I would want it to be like
You
that.
ain't my brother.
But still, that's the way we see it. Like we want the little ones to get. We just want peace and harmony.
Let me
But
explain something.
I
am the baby of 10.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
even
you
with
spoil.
No. Listen to me.
Mhm.
That 10 is blended 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
right,
There's 4 blends within the 10.
right.
I can name on one hand, blindfolded, how many of the 10 I actually mess with.
Because, see, your dynamic is a little different as well because you have much older brothers
Right.
and sisters.
Right.
You was a baby when they were grown.
Right.
So that's a whole different dynamic
Because
relationship.
living in the
base.
home, living
Right.
in the house together, and even on
But
Right.
that goes back to my point about the older kids and respect and loving like they're your own. That goes exactly to my point.
Right.
They were if they are full-blown adults, by the time you know what I'm saying, as the step parent, have this child.
that's basically like that's basically like, yeah, that's your child, but she's adult enough to
You would
to
just have to have different type of conversations
I guess
with
what I'm getting
adult
at-
kids versus younger kids
That's-
because that's still your spouse's
But
kid.
my point was that when those adult kids have a problem with you or have been disrespectful or anything like that, you're less likely to give a dang. You're less likely to go through all of that drama and stress and bullcrap of trying to be the perfect bonus mom. And you know what I'm saying? You're less likely to put yourself through that type of energy
Right.
because these are adults. I don't have to assure no grown ass woman that I care for her and love her. I don't have to do that. If they were children, If they were babies,
I get what you're saying.
If they were little, it is my responsibility to assure this child that I love you.
Okay.
But if you grown, I don't need to put that much energy into you. So if you don't like me, to hell with you too.
So but it does have to be mutual. That respect has to go both ways. And if they're disrespectful, just like there was things for me, even growing up, that I'm like, I ain't cool with that. Like, and this is not even, biologically mine, but I can't just say X, Y, and Z. All I can do is advise, and hopefully that, my advisement would come into consideration. So there's even in that, there's a role that I would have to play, because that is not that's not like my biological child. That's a child between my wife and her ex.
Right.
I can only advise. I can only say, well, if I love him like he's my own, and if it was my own, this is how I would go about handling it.
Yeah, and that's how you have to be with adult kids.
That decision ain't mine. It's actually between, now that he's an adult, between him, his dad, and his mom.
So we got a comment from Adrian, and it says, I need help, Robin. I have grown kids, and it's been a 9-year mess that my husband jealous of my kids. Couple things. Were the kids, you said it's been 9 years, so were they kids when y'all got together, or were they adults already when y'all got together? Because that makes a difference too. And let me tell you the reason.
Okay.
No. Let me tell you the reason why that makes a difference. The reason why, your husband being jealous, and they were adults when y'all got together. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they were kids when y'all got together, your husband is 110% wrong. How you gonna be jealous of some babies? If they were adults when y'all got together, we have a whole different set of problems, because a lot of it is your fault. A lot of that is your fault, because are you coddling a grown kids? Are you know what I'm saying, spending your time, your money, your effort on these adults as opposed to your new budding marriage and relationship?
No, so I agree and disagree, because that relationship dynamic that she's talking about, where husbands get jealous of the kids, that's not necessarily blended family. That could be his kids too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the wife, her relationship that she has with those kids. A lot of wives treat their sons like they're the husbands, even at babies, because they put all their love and attention into the babies and completely ignore the husband.
Yeah.
And as they get older...
But wait a minute, y'all do it with them daughters too.
No, we definitely do not do it
yes, y'all
as much as women do it with their...
There's whole TikToks about... There's whole TikToks about women wanting to go lay in bed with their husband and their daughter cuddled up instead. Like...
it may be a TikTok out there, but it's definitely not as much as women do with their kids.
Y'all will the hell out of these little girls.
No, women,
dude,
when it comes to their...
Y'all will my princess the heck out of this thing.
We're spoiled, but most men is not gonna turn down a good time with his wife to cuddle up with the daughter or with the sons or kids.
So you telling me it's women out here not having sex with their husbands to cuddle with their kids?
Hell to the yes.
Because I love my son to death, and I will send his behind to bed.
No, it's a lot of women that'll keep that baby in the bed with them.
Oh, that's a problem.
Well past the time where the kid comes in.
I don't believe in co-sleeping, though. So
so women do that all the time, and that may be the relationship. She has to check that relationship between her and her kids. And then here's another big problem. The longer that woman has been single or without somebody before with them kids, the harder it is for her to break that habit. Of those kids are her relationship.
That is absolutely.
And
that
if
is
that's
absolutely
what
true.
she dealing with, then yes, her husband is
if
going to be
If you and your
jealous.
husband got 9 years and you and these kids had 15, that's hard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's hard.
But there's a thing about this is my husband or this is my wife. this is my forever person. Your kids ain't your forever people.
They are not.
No. Your husband or wife come before them kids. And that's just the way it is. And a lot of people will not put their spouses before their kids. And that's where the problem comes in.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying to a certain extent, but in today's age, it's hard for you to just fully throw everything you got into that other person.
Don't get married.
Whatever. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to those kids, you gonna protect them hands down no matter what.
I didn't say not protect your kids.
A mother gonna protect hers hand down.
I didn't say not protect.
About what Ty said, though, that's 100% facts. Them kids are not your forever people. And you need to put your spouse before them kids. Because what ends up happening is your kids get disrespectful with your spouse. Mm-hmm. You don't check your kids. You and your spouse having issues from here on out, but let you try to come between that kid and their spouse. Let you say something, you know what I'm saying, to that girl's boyfriend, or you know what I'm saying, or her fiance or her husband. You ain't gonna get the same treatment that you gave her against your wife that you done started a fight with in your marriage for years on years on years, because they not your forever people. You absolutely have to love your spouse.
Yeah. And a lot of women don't realize what they are doing. Because it can be simple as you and your husband ain't been getting busy for so long. You finally got a second or so to do it. That kid start coughing. He ain't dying or she ain't dying. You stop everything with your husband to go see why they crying. The kid will be okay.
I don't think that has nothing to do with putting the kid before your spouse. I think that's a mama instinct.
Yeah,
there.
So time, hold on.
No, you done drew a line. You done drew a line between a mom instinct now. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we talking about small kids, because when we're talking about this,
we're not talking about babies. I'm not
talking about babies. But what I'm saying is, my argument is talking about adult children, and I am only talking about adult children every time I've said anything tonight, because that whole dynamic change, and I said this from the very beginning, that entire dynamic change, every way you supposed to handle that changes if they're children.
Okay.
It changes if they're children. If they are children, no matter what, you are supposed to love that child with everything you got and let them know that ain't no difference between you and my kids, and I will kill for you as soon as I will kill for them. Mm-hmm. If they are children, you are supposed to coddle those boo-boos. You are supposed to love on them. You are supposed to give them attention, because you are setting the standard and the go-ahead for how they gonna get treated for the rest of their life. So again, I say that if we are talking about children, this thing completely changes. But them grown ass kids of yours, y'all can tell them to go to hell if they want to cut a fool.
Yeah, so because
I'm saying when it comes to
it's like this with the adult kids, with that whole adult thing. They're now in a position to where I have to treat that relationship like I would treat any other adult relationship. So if you have a friend and me and him ain't vibing, I'm not gonna stop being your friend just because me and that dude or that person ain't because they're an adult. But if we cool and your baby come around, I'm supposed to be Uncle Mike. I'm supposed to be I'm supposed to be a protector, like even in the absence of you.
Right.
But if this is an adult we're talking about, here's where I think what she's getting at. It's like, I don't have to deal with certain stuff because you are now at a position to make decisions and foster relationships as an adult.
Yes. And if you don't want to do it,
and if the feeling is mutual and high and by.
Exactly.
Here's what my thing with adult kids. I don't F with
you and you don't F with me.
I can love you from a distance.
I don't think that, no, you definitely don't treat adult kids like you would the kids. But I think you still have to have that level of love for the adult kids. The relationship dynamics may be different.
Oh, yes.
You
still
may
love them.
treat them different based on the respect situation.
I could literally have the love of Christ.
You can't do it.
Meaning I don't want no harm to come to you.
You can't love somebody who don't want to be loved. You can't love them if they ain't receiving it.
Yes, you can. You can love people that don't love you. What would Jesus do?
Listen, that's exactly what I just said. I said when it come to your grown kids and we don't mess with each other, I love them with the love of Christ. I don't want no harm to come to you. I don't want nothing bad to come to you. But I don't mess with you.
Thank you for the edited version, Big Sean.
Period.
I mean, and that's you know, you have to, like you said, I don't know if that's necessarily. It's right when it comes to keeping down confusion, because if it's like if it's to a point where it's like every time we in the same atmosphere we can't, you know, blah blah blah, or this that and other, like it's probably difficult on the man to see that separation between, for real, like I love my daughters, I love my sons, I love my kids, I love my spouse. That's just like the whole putting a man in between his spouse and his mother.
The spouse come first. Deuces, mama.
Period.
Man,
leave to cleave. It's in the Bible.
Right. Sorry, mama. Get you a man.
Leave to cleave.
That's another thing mama's boys do. They mamas is their
number
spouse.
one over their spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what make your spouse jealous.
That's what we talking about next week.
Well,
Mama's boys, because we got to add a movie, and we got plenty of Mama's boys.
We got on time. I know we.
It's 9:01.
Yeah.
We don't went way
over. Go. We got to do our.
We gonna hit them final thoughts. Mike Jones, what you got?
All right, so y'all already know I'm advocating for the kids. Like I've been saying it the whole episode. Like I've had a couple different experiences and still experiencing things. But hands down, no matter what, the kids that's involved has nothing to do with our grown behinds. Can't get it together, can't communicate, can't figure it out. The kids, no matter whether they tiny tots or once they get to adults, I don't know. Like I'm just venturing into that neighborhood because they just, you know, crossing that threshold. You know, I just tried to be the best biological father I can be and the best bonus father I can be, and let it be that. And when it comes to the kids, if you doing that, hopefully you got somebody that's in your corner that's receptive to that can see that. And if you're blessed enough to have somebody that say, you know what, your kids are like my kids. I'm going to treat them just as well as I treat my own. But keep in mind, I still gonna have certain type of love for my very own, because that's a mother's nature. That's a mom's nature. Like she's gonna look out for her seeds just like you are, and have to understand that goes on both sides.
Absolutely,
that goes both ways.
Absolutely.
So. My biggest thing
you
is
might
like,
want me to love your kids as much as I love mine, but I pushed them out. I made them. I bred them.
Right.
That's all me.
Right. And so you have to understand at the same time, you may not have nothing to do with those bonus kids that you have, but I feel the same way about mine. I helped somebody else birth those kids and bring them into this world. So it's definitely difficult. It's definitely hard. I don't know all the answers, but I will tell you this. The kids are the most innocent in the situation, and whatever we can do to make the kids survive in that whole world and that whole dynamic, let's just do that.
Yep.
That's all I got.
So yeah, my final thoughts is I guess it's quite simple. I would say remember the pecking order: Jesus, your spouse, your kids, work, then everything else. Well, no, your kids, your extended family, or whatever. You throw mama in there somewhere.
I'm gonna need you to get your list
mama
together
get an
first.
honorable mention.
Yeah, work, then everybody else. Get your life right.
You could have kept it with the first three. We got it from there.
I mean, but here's my thing: if you want your kids to come first, don't get married. If you want your mama to come first, don't have kids, don't get married. If you want your spouse to come first, be an atheist.
No, make the decision.
No, you got to be an atheist because Jesus first.
Come first.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. And when it comes to that order, where it say kids, it didn't say nothing about your kids, then their kids. It said y'all kids. There's no step parents. These are our kids.
Okay.
All righty. I'm gonna just say I have no advice about this. I can't tell you how to navigate this situation. I don't know how. Ain't learned how to navigate my own. So I'm not about to sit here and pretend like I know how to navigate this situation. I got my own problems. Y'all deal with y'all's. I'm gonna deal.
I know.
And that's what I said.
You deal with your problems the best way you know how. I'm going to deal with my problems the very best way I know how. And if you figure out how to handle this, hit our inbox because I'm taking advice.
Right.
I ain't figured this one out yet.
Right.
I saw the topic and was like, you know what? I can talk about it, but to navigate it, I ain't did that in my own life.
Right. Yeah.
So I got nothing for you. And I said what I said.
Right.
So I guess looking at the comments, our peoples want to make sure we talking about Mama's Boys next week. So we got to
They
come
own
up
this
with
Mama's
a movie,
Boys thing in the comments
whatever
too.
movie.
Baby Boy.
Baby Boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the ultimate
no.
Mama's Boy
No,
movie.
we'll talk about it later. But wait,
Okay.
no.
Okay, so we gonna post the movie out there. Yeah, we talking about Mama's Boys out there. So
We'll make sure y'all know what movie we watching
Right.
so y'all can catch up and brush up and argue with us about it.
For sure.
yeah, get in them comments.
This show was fire. This was absolute fire.
what's up.
I appreciated this conversation. Don't forget this weekend. It's the holiday weekend. Most of y'all don't have to work on Monday, so y'all should come hang
Right.
out with us, especially Saturday. Because I know we'll probably be there all day Saturday. Not sure about Sunday, but I know we'll be there all day Saturday.
At least 2 out of 3 of us.
Right. But it's the Taste of Black beer, wines, and beverages is going down at Yum Village this Saturday and Sunday from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Ty, run that spot for me real quick. This commercial's sexy too.
Oh yeah.
It's
Come here,
hosted
girl.
by us and Black Spirits Legacy, Yum
May
Village.
28th.
We only do black
the
owned and
29th.
black owned everything. So black owned spirits,
Featuring
beer,
Cajun
wines,
Fire.
beverages. Make sure y'all in the building Saturday and Sunday.
Come on out and spend some time with your boy. And drink some of that Cajun Fire. Have some wine on me, girl.
Really? That's your deep
Yeah.
voice?
You have some wine on me.
Thank you, DJ.
Thank you, DJ.
At the event, you can have wine on me, and later on, I'll have wine on you.
At any rate,
Yeah.
thank y'all for kicking it with us today. We're gonna talk about the Mama's Boys next week because y'all
Right.
seem like y'all is really into that. So we're gonna talk about the Mama's Boys
Yep.
next
Mama's
week.
Boys.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in. This has been Just Our Opinion with Robin.
Mike,
And Ty.
now you can hit the button, Ty.
Deuces.
See y'all later.